No one gives a medal to the person who finishes in 1 millionth place. No one remembers the name of the person standing in the middle of the crowd. No one actively searches for average people. It sounds harsh, but that's how the world works. The best jobs rarely go to average people. The best opportunities rarely go to average people. The most valuable relationships, the most exciting invitations, and the most desirable positions are usually claimed by people who stand out before everyone else gets a chance. And that's the real cost of living an average life. It's not that you'll fail. It's not that you'll be poor. It's that you'll spend your entire life choosing from what's left after more exceptional people have already made their choices. In this video, you'll discover why average is more dangerous than most people realize and how to break out of it. If you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, subscribe to MindForge and let's get started. There is something school rarely teaches us. The world does not reward effort equally, it rewards visible value. That may sound unfair, but think about it for a moment. Millions of people work incredibly hard every single day. They wake up early, they stay late, they sacrifice weekends. If hard work were all it took, many of those people would be among the most successful individuals on the planet. But reality tells a different story. Imagine two restaurants sitting side by side on the same street. One serves amazing food, but nobody knows it exists. The other serves decent food and is always packed with customers. At the end of the day, which restaurant makes more money? This isn't really a story about food. It's a story about value and visibility. In today's world, that reality is more obvious than ever. Millions of posts are published every day. Millions of videos are uploaded. In a world like that, being good is no longer enough. If nobody knows you exist, the market will treat you as if you don't exist. And that's where many people get stuck. They spend years improving their skills, but very little time creating value that other people can actually see. They're like an incredible restaurant hidden in an alley with no sign outside. The problem isn't quality. The problem is that nobody knows to walk through the door. The reason so many people stay stuck isn't that they lack intelligence. It isn't because they're lazy. The truth is far more uncomfortable than that. Most people spend years trying to improve themselves, but they do it in exactly the same way as everyone else. They learn the same skills, read the same books, chase the same goals. Then they wonder why they don't stand out. Whenever a new trend appears, millions of people rush toward it at the same time. As a result, what was once considered an advantage quickly becomes the minimum standard. Imagine a city with 1,000 chefs and only one baker. That baker would be incredibly valuable. But if all 1,000 chefs decided to become bakers tomorrow, that value would disappear almost overnight. That's exactly what's happening across many industries today. The issue isn't whether you have skills. The issue is whether those skills make you different. And this is where most people go wrong. They spend too much time asking, what should I learn next? When the better question is, what makes me harder to replace than the people around me? That small shift in thinking can completely change the direction of your life. Because the world doesn't reward you based on how much effort you put in. It rewards you based on how difficult you are to replace. If you want to escape average, stop trying to compete by simply doing more than everyone else. That's a battle you'll almost never win. There will always be someone willing to work longer hours than you, someone smarter than you, someone with more experience than you. But there is something more important than all of those things: clarity. Imagine walking through a food market with 100 different stalls. You're craving pizza. One stall has a sign that says, "We sell everything." Another says, "Authentic Italian pizza." Which one are you more likely to choose? Most people would choose the second one. Not because they know the food is better, but because they immediately understand who it's for and what it offers. This is the mistake many people make throughout their careers. They try to become a fit for every opportunity. They write resumes that suggest they can do everything. They introduce themselves with broad labels like, "I work in marketing," "I do design," or "I'm in business." But the market doesn't remember vague, the market remembers specific. When people have a problem, they don't look for someone who knows a little bit about everything. They look for someone who can solve that exact problem. That's why the people who stand out rarely begin by becoming the best. They begin by becoming the clearest. They own a problem. They attach their name to a result. And over time, that makes them the first choice instead of the last. There is a reason so many talented people stay stuck while others continue to attract new opportunities. They spend too much time building confidence and not enough time building evidence. Think about how you choose a hotel when you're traveling. You don't call the owner and ask how confident they are. You look at the reviews. You look at the photos. You look at the experiences of previous guests. You look for proof. The job market works the same way. Someone may believe they're a great designer, a great salesperson, or a great manager, but that belief means very little if there's nothing to support it. That's why so many people spend years learning without making meaningful progress. They're constantly preparing, but they never step onto the field. They keep collecting knowledge without collecting evidence. Meanwhile, someone else may be far from perfect, but they have a portfolio, they have completed projects, they have real clients, they have visible results. And when an opportunity appears, the winner is usually the person with the clearest proof. If you want to move beyond average, stop asking how to feel more confident. Start asking a far more practical question. If someone asked me to prove my value in the next 60 seconds, what would I show them? Because the world doesn't reward potential, the world rewards proof. But even proof isn't enough. There are countless talented people in the world that nobody knows. Imagine opening the best restaurant in your city, then hiding it in an alley with no sign, no advertising, and no indication that it even exists. The quality of the food hasn't changed, but the outcome certainly will. This is exactly what happens to many people. They work hard, they create real results, they develop genuine skills, but they keep all of it locked away in an invisible drawer where nobody can see it. Meanwhile, others continuously share their work, they showcase completed projects. They share lessons they've learned. They allow people to see the process behind the results. And over time, something interesting happens. When an opportunity appears, their name appears in people's minds first, not because they're the most talented, but because they're the most memorable. Look at almost any profession: lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, business owners, content creators. The people who receive the most opportunities are rarely the people secretly working the hardest in the room. They're the people who have made their value the easiest to see. And that's the final step in escaping average. Don't just create value, make that value visible. Because in a world full of competition, being invisible can sometimes be more dangerous than not being good enough. The world does not suffer from a shortage of hardworking people. It does not suffer from a shortage of intelligent people. It does not suffer from a shortage of potential. What it lacks are people who stand out enough to be chosen first when opportunities appear. That's why the true cost of living an average life isn't money or status. It's the doors that never open, the invitations that never arrive, the opportunities that never appear because nobody knows you're the right person for them. The good news is that this can change, and not by working longer hours, not by running faster than everyone else, but by becoming clearer, building stronger proof, and making yourself easier to remember. Because in the end, life is not a competition to see who works the hardest. It's a competition to see who creates the most value and makes that value visible. And from this day forward, the most important question is no longer whether you're good enough. The real question is this: if an opportunity appeared tomorrow, would anyone think of you first? If you found value in this video, subscribe to MindForge and share it with someone who's working to become exceptional in a world full of average.